Welcome, everyone. How is everyone doing today?
We are so excited to have everyone join us for our webinar. We're Christine Weeks, the founder of Eleanor Creative, an agency known for helping brands grow through powerful storytelling and smart strategy. She is going to be covering the topic that's on every business owner's mind, which is when is the right time to hire an agency? Does it make sense? How are you going to boost your digital ROI? Do you need to refresh your brand? And so much more. And we are so excited to have Christina take the stage in just a little bit. But before we do, Tanya, tell us about our featured sponsor and member that is making this week's webinar possible.
Yes, so our featured sponsor for this week's webinar is Tallgrass, and we're super proud to feature them, and we thank them for being a sponsor of Grow. They have deep roots here in the Midwest, and so they play a vital role in Nebraska's energy infrastructure. So they operate key pipeline systems and that just run through the state in supporting innovative energy solutions. And so we're grateful for their support and continued investment in this region. I know they have locations all across this United States, but we're incredibly grateful that they partnered with us in supporting our Nebraska entrepreneurs. And our featured member is DFI Solutions to print in print, and they've been a member since 2011. They're headquartered in Omaha, and they have been offering just a range of print services and solutions tailored to help businesses with packaging, labeling, to help kind of keep boosting their product and their packaging. And so, super excited to feature them. And just a kind of a little plug here, maybe stay on the lookout. We might have Roy doing a webinar on how you can help boost your packaging, as well as some maybe new stuff coming down about UPCs.
All right. Is this me? Is this my time?
Yes, yep. Christine, if you'd like to take it away, perfect.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am going to share my screen. I'd love it if people put in the chat where they're visiting, watching from today. And then if Tanya and Cam, if you guys want to help me moderate the questions, if there's questions along the way, that would be great. And let's see. All right. Can everybody see this? So like Grow Nebraska introduced, I'm Christine Weeks, CEO of Eleanor Creative, and I'm really excited to be with you today to talk through all the different opportunities that you could consider hiring an agency and when it makes sense. I think agencies can add a lot of value to your business, but it really kind of depends on what you need to do in your budget. So we're going to go through several different examples today. And just to get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Eleanor. So I started Eleanor 16 years ago in Lincoln and really just wanted to create a great company that focused on brand experiences, bringing brands to life and helping, clients really just take their brands to the next level. And in addition, creating a very special place to work for our employees as well. So today we're going to talk more about the mission of Eleanor. I'll introduce you to my fabulous team. I couldn't be prouder of them and feel so lucky to lead them every day. Then we're going to go into digital advertising and when does it make sense for your company to hire an agency if you're really looking to, grow sales through digital advertising. Maybe you need to create an online storefront. We'll go through some of the things that an agency can help you with. Repositioning your brand, creating signature events, and hiring campaigns. So first up, of course, is the mission of Eleanor. So Eleanor started in 2008, and our mission is simple. It's to create and develop brands that contribute to the greater good. So we're always looking for businesses, nonprofits, civic organizations, cities to partner with that really share in this belief that we can make the world a better place by creating better brand experiences. And we love doing it. It is really like the heart behind our company, and we've had so many wonderful success stories and feel very fortunate to partner with so many good people around the world. The Eleanor team, just an incredible group. I wouldn't be here today without them, and I feel, like I said, so fortunate to lead them and work alongside of them. A lot of us have been together for many years. I always like to point out, Nick, Chief Creative Officer, was the first web designer I hired in 2008, and feel lucky to work alongside him. Mackenzie has been with me since 2008. She started as my nanny and now is COO. And just other great relationships along the way. I tell people all the time, you can have, the best marketing strategy in the world for your company, but really the most important thing is caring about your team and making sure they feel valued and supported along the way. All right, these are some of the clients we work with. Dorothy Lynch, which is a member of Grow Nebraska, Santos Energy, Massport Pumps, which is an international pump company. We'll talk about them more today. Le Cartier, a Nebraska-based bakery. And then we have clients that span really from healthcare to nonprofits, smaller organizations and larger ones. And we'll do several case studies today that will give you better examples of what an agency can help you with. All right, so let's jump in. Digital advertising. Just a heads up, I can't see any questions. So if anybody needs to pop on, feel free. So say you want to grow your organization through digital advertising, but you're just not quite sure how, and maybe you don't know where to start. We're going to talk about some of the ways an agency can help you do that. So here's things that an agency can step in and do. One thing we're really great at is strategy development. And with strategy development, it's who is your audience and how do you target them on different digital platforms? So digital platforms from Meta to Hulu to YouTube, they all have different ways to target customers. And the strategists in an agency really help to define your ideal audience. They talk about different demographics, their interests, income levels. But you really want to, before you start any digital campaign, is figure out who that audience is and exactly how you can reach them. And reaching them through channel selection is imperative. So whether it's Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, it's going to the place where your consumers are at. And that's what an agency can do. They can select the right channels for you to be on and what makes most sense for your goals. And campaign goals, like we really want to help our clients figure out what's the goal of this campaign. Is it awareness? Is it conversions? Is it lead generation? So talking through some of those with our clients is really important. And I think keeping in mind, if your team has a strategist there that's available to help, great. Then that's one area where you might not need to hire an agency for. But if they don't, you want to get the strategy right before you jump into the next step. Agencies can also help you with, and I think this is some of the best parts here, is this ad creation. So creative services, sometimes in a small business, maybe you do have a marketing specialist. They might not be a copywriter. They might not be a graphic designer. They might not specialize in web design. But when you hire an agency, you get all of the specialties in one group to work on your account. And it's really the creative element that gets the right message to the right people in an interesting way. So sometimes, you have a really strong copywriter, but their skill set isn't matched with design. That's where an agency can bring all of these services together. And A/B testing. So getting out there and really testing different ads, different messages. A lot of times that's not available in small businesses. So an agency can bring that to the table. One of the most overlooked pieces, and which we always are bringing with any digital strategy, is this landing page optimization. So when you're delivering ads out on, say, Facebook or Instagram, somebody goes and clicks on the ad, but then they just maybe go back to the homepage of your website. They're not going to a specific page to to convert or get the information that they need. That's really where this tension is. We need to make sure that if you're delivering ads, they're coming back to a custom landing page. And agencies are great at that. They're great at helping, design pages that will convert, that will help your company get the information that you need, and making them look sharp and that they load well, they're easy to use, they're informative, and that they actually have a great funnel for your company. And performance tracking. How are these ads doing? Making sure you have somebody that can understand exactly how these ads are performing. So if they're not performing well, you can make the switch. So speaking of switching, agility is so important. So if you need to have a quick pivot, that's where an agency can come in and help you just turn that creative around. Maybe the creative's not performing well. Maybe your target audience isn't responding well to what you're putting out there. Agencies can allow for that quick pivot of those campaigns. Cost efficiencies. It's important to really watch the budgets. Sometimes there's great times to run ads, and there's not great times. Things will be more expensive certain times of the year. Agencies can give you advice on when's the best time to run those ads. And the thing that agencies bring to the table is these relationships with the platforms. So for example, our team has several Meta representatives that they meet with on a regular basis. So if our clients' brand campaigns are not performing, or they have questions on how to do things differently, agencies have that relationship, and that really is the biggest value I think we can provide to smaller businesses, is to get ads working in the best way possible on these platforms. I'm going to talk through one of our clients that I just love and adore, Le Cartier. They're in Lincoln and Omaha. They hired us about 3 years ago, I think in 2023, 22, and they had never done digital before. They had done some organic social media, but they'd never done any paid advertising. They were a little skeptical about what would happen, but we said, just let us give it a try. So I'm going to show you some ads from over the years that we've done that I'm very proud of, and I know our team has put their heart and soul into. So this is Eleanor's custom photography, custom backdrop. This happened in one of our downstairs studios. Sean was responsible for this, had a great time putting them together. So we had different campaigns that had, the words merry, bright, calls to action to order, but they are very striking. This photography and the color palette all was really bringing people in to think about the holidays and whether or not they needed things to add to their holiday recipes. This is our Easter campaign. As you can see, it's more light and airy and warm. And then this was some Thanksgiving messaging as well. So what happened the first time when we worked with our client to say, let's try digital strategies? So this is kind of going through the first campaign we did for them. So Christmas time is the Super Bowl of the baking world, and in Nebraska there are many bakeries for consumers to trust with their holiday orders. How does one stand out from the crowd and scoop up the undecided consumers in the city? So like you saw, we led with sharp, clever creative that incorporated crisp, playful, delicious looking imagery and cheeky copy. And we really anchored all of this in Meta. And we started with their loyal fan base and replicated people that liked their page. And really the results were astonishing. I believe the ad spend for our first year was only like $600. And when we compared the year to year over what they had done before, we had an increase of 68.5%. So it was a wonderful way to showcase how great copy, great photography and ad creative, plus a smart strategy on Meta could really help, double the sales for this company at Christmas time. And we continue to do this for them for Thanksgiving, Easter, Mother's Day, and they see great results. And we're so happy that we could bring them a cost-effective way to share their story and to bring in more consumers to try their products and build their fan base across the state. The next thing I'm going to talk to you all about is an online storefront. There's several different ways to look at this, and I'm gonna give some different examples of when the best time to hire an agency if you're selling a product on your site. And let's Okay, so for custom build experiences, that's when you really want to think about an agency. If you need a custom experience on your website, and if you need like unique checkout flows, if you have subscriptions, memberships, you're bundling a lot of products, that's a great time to hire an agency. If you need a really fast and SEO optimized site. So agencies are good at really finding out what the keywords are for your company and what are people searching when they go online to find this product. Agencies can help you build a site with smart SEO strategies to bring your clients directly to your site so they can find what they're looking for. And that they're mobile friendly, that they're fast, secure. There's so many things to think about when building a website. That's where the agency, structure can come in and say, this is the best path forward for your business. And it's really important if you have a lot of back-end integrations. So say you have inventory you're managing, if you have a CRM, accounting, shipping, different API keys, this is when an agency can come in and step in and help. Also, if you're, looking to really enhance your brand, so you need to pair your brand with this great online experience, an agency can come in and help you with that. Or just say you're not tech savvy and you don't want to manage it. That's a good time to hire an agency. Now, I do want to say, if you have, a few products and you're tech savvy enough, you can use templates on Shopify and Wix and Squarespace that have good e-commerce solutions. And also, if you don't have a big budget, if you don't have a budget, that's probably time to just kind of bootstrap it, do it yourself, and at least get started and see what kind of experience you can create. But when you're ready for a real, nice custom build experience, that's when an agency can step in and help. I'm going to talk to you about one of the largest sites we've ever done at Eleanor, and this is for Massport pumps. This was a gigantic site, over 200 pages, hundreds and hundreds of products, which we did custom photography for. We really rethought the user experience, and we made it, feel very modern and easy to check out. And it was customized on every level. So I'm going to take you through some of the things that we saw. So we developed a dynamic e-commerce platform for them. We used industrial photography to showcase their high performance products. And then the complete UI UX overhaul of really how are consumers using this site and how can we make it even a better experience for them. And what we saw was, we launched this in July 2024. We had a sales increase of 22.7%, while purchases grew by 41%. So we created pages that had stronger conversions. And I think that's something that small businesses need to think about is how is your site converting people? How are you taking them through the flow of information? And then we had digital advertising campaigns when we launched the site to really talk to people about this new experience that they were going to have at Massport Pumps. It was a win for everyone. It was a lot of work, and incredibly proud of the work that we did, and it's been great. All right, repositioning your brand. So Eleanor is definitely brand first. So when people come to us and they say, hey, we have an advertising campaign, or we have this website we need you to work on, we always go back to the foundation of the brand. And when you're thinking about your brand, I want everybody to think about the look of the brand. So color palette, photography, advertising, the feel of the brand. How does the brand make people feel? From the way you answer your phones to when people come into your office, how are they greeted? And the voice, the words you use and how you say it and the tone. All of this coming together for the look, feel, and voice of the brand is very important. So when it comes to repositioning, I'd say you reposition at certain times. And I'm going to go through a case study that hopefully everyone can relate to and understand why we had to do such a big repositioning. Sometimes repositioning means just small, minor tweaks. And sometimes it means a massive change. And the one I'm going to talk to you about was a major change for the company and the community. The first example here is Blue Stem Health. So People's Health Center came to us, I think, in 2017. And the problem they were facing was that they were being confused with the Center for People in Need, the People City Mission, and there are a few other people organizations. And the problem was so interesting because they were all solving similar problems with the community, but they had different ways they were doing it. So People's Health Center was different than the People's City Mission in the sense that they weren't just they didn't have a free healthcare clinic. You couldn't come there just and get free services. They had a sliding scale fee. They did offer healthcare, but it was slightly different. And so the employees found themselves, solving a lot of problems during the day for clients that weren't there for them, clients that maybe came there by mistake, or answering the phone, or where's this location, or I thought I was here, but I'm not, I'm at the wrong place. So they really needed to do a big pivot. And so we took them through a journey and renamed and rebranded them to Bluestem Health. So the goals for this project were to reposition People's Health Center from a low-income clinic to a clinic for both insured and underinsured and uninsured, and to really eliminate this confusion with the People's City Mission and the Center for People in Need. So how did we do that? We had to come up with a new name, new mission, vision, values, and a new visual identity. So I always tell people naming your company is one of the hardest things that you can do, especially now when names are everywhere online. You can find them. There's so many more companies. It is a really difficult process. So I always say, when you're thinking about naming, think about things that are connected to your company, to your mission, but spread it out. Think widely about it. So we thought about their mission, vision, values, and we did naming research that would tie closely to them. We thought about the neighborhoods that these clinics were located in. Was there anything unique about community, neighborhoods, names of streets that we could pull into renaming this company? Of course, we brainstormed a lot about Nebraska, because this is where this federally qualified health center would be. It would remain. There's multiple clinics, but it would always be a Nebraska-based federally qualified health center. We thought about words related to medicine, because they're a healthcare clinic, and continuity of care, because they provide healthcare for pregnant moms, babies, all the way up to the geriatric population. And ultimately, we chose Nebraska. We came to the agreement that Nebraska-based names were the way to go for this organization. And why did we do that? Because Nebraska was the new home for many of their patients. They served a lot of immigrants and refugees who were moving to Nebraska. We wanted to reiterate to them that this is your healthcare home. This is something to be proud of, and we're glad that you're here. And Nebraska was the common theme that united the patients. So we were moving in a direction and a model that had fully insured patients, and also patients that were underinsured. And we wanted to unite them across this theme of we're all Nebraskans. We're all living, working, and being a part of this community. So why Bluestem? There were so many Nebraska names, but we landed on Bluestem for several reasons. So just the background of Bluestem: Little Bluestem was designated Nebraska state grass in 1969. The foliage of this natural beauty adds a kaleidoscope of pastel colors in the summer and coppery tones in the fall. And we loved that. We loved the diversity of color and like different people and unique backgrounds all coming here for healthcare. And we just thought it was a great representation of the people at Bluestem Health. And in addition, other facts about Bluestem that really kind of solidified this name for us. Bluestem grass is a beautiful grass that's tough, tolerant, and adaptable. And a lot of their patients had really been through some hard times and were seeking Bluestem's advice for mental health, behavioral health, physical health. And we really wanted to honor that. It establishes quickly on disturbed soils. It shines in the meadows and prairies and mixed paintings. And the one part that I loved, and I still think about it to this day, every time I talk about this client, is that butterflies and birds use Bluestem for shelter. And just this idea that Bluestem Health is a place that's going to really do what's right for people and be kind of a protective element for them, and when their lives have experienced such change and hardship. And the Little Bluestem root system is deep and fibrous, potentially 5 feet, with some roots developing horizontally. And that to us was like, that's our commitment to the community. We've been here a long time. We're staying around. We are going to have deep roots. We're not going to go away. We're going to be here to serve the patients, whether you're underinsured or insured, that Blue Stem Health is here to stay, and that they have the quality of care to go along with it. So Blue Stem became a name for all, serve insured, underinsured, and uninsured. Their new mission was to be a trusted resource for excellent medical, dental, and behavioral health services. Their vision is a healthy community. And we always go back as a marketing team, and I think that's something for you all to think about, is like we always go back to their vision. A healthy community. So we talk a lot about patient education when we're talking about Blue Stem Health in the community or just to their patients, ways to make healthy recipes, parks for them to go and explore, different things that are not necessarily disease focused, but more preventative health medicine to inspire people to really work together to have a healthy community. And then their values, diversity, equality with dignity, acceptance, and quality care. So once we had the name, the mission, the vision, the values, well, we had a lot of clinics. We had to go in and rebrand, which is the thing that, a lot of businesses need to think about before they go on this rebranding journey. Is it is expensive. Do you have the resources to flip everything around? And I'm going to walk you through some of the implementation elements that we did. So within all of the clinics, we really worked to clean things up, to showcase their mission, to showcase people at Blue Stem Health throughout their waiting rooms, their clinic rooms, their conference rooms. We wanted to showcase the values front and center for their employees to be reminded of. We had a full website redesign. Now, this client has been with us a long time, so I think we are on maybe website number 2 or 3, but really bringing that brand to life on the website. That's what everybody should be aiming for, is consistency in this brand image. So from your online presence to in your offices, making sure your brand feels consistent. Social media and showcasing people. I talk about this a lot. I really believe that you should showcase the people that are working for your brand. So when we were repositioning Blue Stem Health, we were going to make sure to tell the stories of the heroes that work there, the nurses, the doctors, and even the patients, and how Blue Stem Health has impacted their lives. Advertising, right? Making sure this is all consistent on the story you're telling to the community and to prospective patients. And we still work with Blue Stem today. We are honored to share the Blue Stem story. We love how they engage with the community, and we really believe in their mission. And as you can see, this was, an extensive repositioning. But what an agency can bring to the table is naming expertise. They can help with PR problems. So say your brand's facing some perception issues and you need a PR strategy to turn things around. That's where an agency can bring the expertise to help you. And anything, from your graphic creations to, different brand experience elements, an agency really can step in and help you walk through that. And I think some agencies specialize in brand experiences and some don't. So the questions to ask is, do you specialize in creating great brand experiences for clients? Okay, signature events. I believe that brand experiences should be lived out. I think all companies, all clients should have something that they are, showcasing to the community, that they're involved in the community, that they feel passionate about. So I'm going to talk to you about different signature event options that we've done and how an agency can help with that. Okay, so when you should hire an agency for an event, not every event needs agency level attention. There are tons of events that your company does in the community that you don't need an agency for. But if you want to do the following, this is why you should hire an agency. So say you want a high impact professional event. Everything needs to be a top of the line. All the details need to be thought about. That's when an agency can come in and help you. If you need creative direction and execution, so say you need to name your event, you need to brand it, you need to tell the local community or surrounding communities about it. that's when you want to bring an agency to make sure everything is consistent. And really to make the day of event go off well, and that there are no surprises along the way. If you have a budget and you want results, say you want, 500 people to come to this event and you're expecting to get, 30 new customers out of it. If you want a team that says we can help you, get the right people to your event and see some ROI from all of your investment. And one thing that Eleanor does and why people hire us for events is that we can bring in top tier partners and vendors, people that are, clients of ours that may want to sponsor an event or are looking for other, groups to partner with. But agencies have those connections of different businesses and groups and clients that they've worked with that they can really help bring those agencies and those people all together for your signature event. Okay, I'm going to talk about an event we did for the Lincoln Parks Foundation. And we really created this as a collaborative event for Lincoln Parks Foundation, Hub Cafe, and then Eleanor Creative. The goal for this signature event was to activate the parks. So Lincoln Parks Foundation was noticing that some of their parks were not being activated in a way that they wanted them to be. So they had this beautiful new plaza, Union Plaza down in downtown Lincoln, that were all the trails connected. It's just a gorgeous space. There's little creeks and amphitheater, and it's connected to Hub Cafe, a great restaurant, and it's connected to the Jane Snyder Trail Center. It's a really central location for people to get on their bikes and experience these different parks that kind of weave in and out of the Antelope Valley. And they came to us and they said, we need to activate this park. It's sitting here. People don't know about it. And so we thought of several different ideas, but one thought was like, we want to bring together local people. We want to bring together local chefs, musicians, vendors, sponsors, and really celebrate this beautiful area of Lincoln. As you can see on this poster we designed, there's hundreds of people there that can come together for a free concert series. And I believe this is going to be our 7th year of putting it together. So the first thing our team did was we named the event. We named it Hub and Soul. So we took Hub Cafe that was there and we paired it with the music and created the typeface and the kind of feeling behind it. Now, this is our 7th year. So we have different, similar looks, but different looks for each year. And we really help to promote the event, and we organize the vendors, we organize the sponsors, the musicians, the food trucks, and create this wonderful opportunity for people in Lincoln to come and enjoy. So I'm going to walk through some of those advertisements. This one I love because it kind of shows like the grid of the Antelope Valley and the trails, and featuring the musicians. Like, always go to feature the people that are showing up, they're working the event, they're singing at the event. We'll make sure that the people are front and center to the signature events that we're putting on. Great musician from Harana. And yeah, so that's just a little bit about Hub and Soul and a signature event. I would love for people to all think about what signature event can I do in my community, and whether or not you need an agency to help you out really depends on the scale and your budget. Okay, I see that there are questions popping in, but I'm going to do the last topic and then we'll jump into those questions. So hiring campaigns. I would say before the pandemic, no one came to Eleanor for hiring campaigns. It was just not something that we did or needed to do. But once the pandemic happened, there were shortages across the city of Lincoln, across the country. Obviously, Lincoln is where we could step in and help. And I'm going to go through a couple different examples of how we did that. So when you need to hire an agency for hiring campaign, some things to think about. If you need to hire quickly, if you're hiring for a specialty role, if the jobs have been vacant for a long time, you have a budget to do so and to make that happen. So we're going to go through 2 different case studies about hiring and how we were able as an agency to step in and help. The first campaign I'm going to talk to you about is the City of Lincoln's StarTran, which is our bus system, was really struggling to hire bus drivers. They had gone 9 months with a shortage, sometimes having up to 22 bus drivers that they needed to hire. They were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on overtime, and they could not get their message out. They needed somebody to come in and think outside of the box. They were running ads. They did have, a website page, but nothing was standing out to the people that might want to work there. So, like anytime we work on a campaign or work with any client, we interview the people that this campaign matters to, the stakeholders that are involved. So we had a great several meetings with just the bus operators. We found out what they loved about their job. We found out why they wake up and go to work every day. We talked about the benefits that the city provides and the unique aspects of their job. And what we learned was that bus operators are really people. They're there helping people every day, and sometimes some of the most vulnerable people in our population. So we created the campaign called Next Stop. Next Stop, Get Hired. Next Stop, Paid Vacation, where we featured, sunny skies and a beach. Next Stop, An Office with a View. This is one of my favorite lines from a woman that was a bus operator. She said, "I love my job. I have an office with a view." So it's really getting at the heart that's where an agency can come in and really dig deeper. Sometimes when you're so close to what you're doing, you need somebody from the outside to come in and to kind of tell you, this is your point of difference. This is what's special. This is what's unique. And this is how we can solve the problem. I've mentioned this many times now. If we feature the people that we're working on the project with. So these people you're looking at are all bus operators. How an agency can help and what we did differently is obviously we came up with great creative. This photography is done by a local photographer that we partner with a lot at Eleanor. And, really showcasing their personalities and who they are and what they love about their job. And getting the message to the right places. So I'll tell you a little bit more about how we ran this campaign, but we did have some great advertising options to showcase just, I think, the beauty of the people and how much they love their job. And using what you have, right? This is bus operators. We can put advertisements on buses. So I think also thinking strategically about how you're getting your message out and what resources do you have right there in front of you that you can use. So what we did for this campaign is we really focused on a digital campaign and also an hiring experience. So we started a Facebook event where we just invited people that might be interested in this work to come and take a look at a bus, come meet bus operators, come hear about the benefits. So we were running ads for 2 to 3 weeks about, the paid benefits, the great benefits, paid vacation, office with a view, all with this stunning imagery. And we had truly amazing results. So in 30 days, we only spent $1,000. We reached 26,500 people who saw the ads 3.6 times each. We had 144 people marked interested or going to the event. 13 people saved the event, 35 people commented, 85 people shared this event to others. On the day of the event, we had 27 applications that were submitted, which was 122% of our goal. 22 jobs were offered, 2 were not hired, and 1 declined due to wages. But we were able to solve this hiring problem truly in 2.5 weeks. And that there is kind of the agency difference. It takes that creative execution, strategy to bring all these things together. So a really great time to hire if you're facing a severe hiring shortage. You need some better creative to tell your story. Maybe just what you're putting out there isn't really sharing the real story behind your company. I will talk about one more hiring campaign. I'm gonna check the time here. Okay, we're doing good. We got a call from Lancaster County Corrections in 2020, around the pandemic time, they were facing a similar hiring shortage, and it's a very stressful time for that whole organization. You can imagine, say you go to work and have a 12-hour shift and they say you can't leave because there's no one else to replace you. That's stressful for everyone. So when the county came to us, they were really feeling the pressure. They were stressed. They were hurting for their employees. They said, we have to tell more people about what it's like to work here. And when we interviewed the employees, we found out they loved their job. They loved helping the inmates. It was a very clean place. They had a great culture. All of these corrections officers had huge personalities. And they wanted people that were compassion forward and really could, work together with the team and the inmates and come compassion forward to their jobs. So the first campaign we did for them was called Goodbye Office, Hello Officer, really showcasing, the benefits of being a correction officer. And the second campaign we did a couple years later was Put the U in Justice. So really getting people to think about themselves as corrections officers and what it might be like to work there with them. And I should note that both of these campaigns had very custom landing pages. Going back to Next Stop, if you go to nextstoplnk.com, it should still be up. But it's wonderful. It has a bus that drives through and talks about the benefits and showcases the people on their site. And like we had mentioned earlier, and I'm going to say again, those optimized landing pages are so critical to the success of your campaigns. And so this one also had a customized page as well, really focusing when you're thinking about hiring, you need to focus on the benefits, the people that work there, and the real experience of what it might be like to join your company. Hiring campaigns, obviously, we need you. And showcasing career fairs, where you're showing up at, how people can get in touch with you. We had a wonderful billboard campaign all over the city of Lincoln. And it was great to see the correction officers have so much pride in having their faces up there and being a part of the community and making sure the site's responsive. Most people are accessing this information from their phones. So website design really needs to be considered on that platform more importantly now than ever. I know I just ran through a lot. I'm excited to do questions. So here's some fun facts. I think what everyone should know with this is they were down 22 some corrections officers over the years. I think now we kind of sit at 4, but they still, hire us to come in and keep their brand top of mind and keep their jobs top of mind for people. And it's been a great partnership for everyone involved. All right, let's see if I can access these questions.
And I'm happy to read them for you, Christine.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
Awesome. The first question is, would you consider a landing page like a page that is already currently on the website or something that's newly built?
Most times we recommend just pages that are not in the main navigation. So these are kind of secret pages. They kind of lock people in a little bit to take them through a funnel. So I think everyone should have a custom page for whatever they're trying to sell, unless it's very specific. Say you're selling dance classes and you have a page that says, sign up now, a little bit about the classes, but most times people's websites are just more informative and not really built to convert.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And the same person asked, so like if once they're ready for maybe an agency to help with their online storefront site, would they be able to help optimize their current Shopify site, or would you suggest like a whole new website build?
Oh, I think definitely looking at what they have and seeing if it can be optimized is always a smart strategy. And then if it's really like maybe out of date, maybe the template is too old to be, updated, then talking about a different build. I do want to reiterate that if you are starting over, don't just scrap your old site. Make sure you're transferring your links over, make sure your content gets moved over. But don't just throw what you've done away. Make sure that assets and links are being transferred as well.
Awesome. And then for a small business, what's the most high impact way to get started working with an agency?
I think finding an agency that you gel with, that you trust, that you've seen that they've delivered great results, just reaching out and saying, "Hey, do you think this could be a partnership?" And obviously making sure you have a budget to work with an agency and that you kind of have a good sense of who they are and how they work. Eleanor works a lot with retainer clients, so we stay on with them month after month. And I think just finding the right, are they a project by project agency? Are they retainer clients? Do they specialize in this? There's some things that Eleanor just might not be well suited for. And I think if you can have an honest conversation about, are we a good fit? That's always a great place to start.
So kind of on to that question, would you have like maybe some suggestions, like questions to maybe get that conversation going that you would suggest small businesses ask, like like when
Yeah,
there's
I think like one thing is like, do you have a minimum retainer, right? So Eleanor would have minimum retainer amounts. So, we're not working with clients probably that have $500 a month to spend, right? So finding somebody that can match their budget. Do you have experience, say, in SEO and the client, showcase that experience? But honestly, the first, hurdle to jump usually is budget and getting that out of the way. And I think there's always a time, right? You will find some agencies like Eleanor that maybe are willing to work with you as you grow. So you'll have a budget increase over the years, as kind of we'll help you get started. Here's the expectation. As you grow, we grow along with you. And there's some agencies in town pass work to Eleanor because it's too small of a client for them. We pass work to other agencies because it's too small of a client for us. So I think that's always a good, when you find agencies that can kind of recommend maybe this is the right fit for your company.
have you I guess in some of your work, have you worked with like had a business like work with your agency on one thing and another agency on another thing, and like have you guys had to kind of like work together to like get their goal met?
Yeah, I think that model is becoming more and more popular. I mean, it used to just be like agency of record and you did everything. So now there are pieces, and we work with, other companies all the time. So I talked about the photographer, we work with Kathy Plunkett, on, larger campaigns. She's just an excellent photographer, and that's what she specializes in. We work with different videographers for different projects if we need, more hands on deck. Eleanor's still providing, the strategy, the talent management. But sometimes we have to bring in people to support the larger projects that we're doing. And we also believe that like there's people out there that solely focus on this. They solely focus on videography. There are things we can learn from them. We have clients where they have an SEO agency. We do, they'll provide the SEO, but we do all of the UI, UX design work. I think collaboration is great, and it's really, wonderful when you find those partners.
That's sorry, that was just a few questions that popped up while from that one question.
Yeah, no.
I'm not seeing any other questions currently. Oh, there might be a hand raise. Oh, it went down.
Ask
Nope.
away.
Andrea looks like she has a question, so I might just allow her to talk.
Yeah,
Cami?
sure.
Okay. Awesome. Andrea, you should be able to unmute and ask your question if you'd like.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. Okay, so my question is kind of related to the idea of rebranding and how expensive all of that is. Are there tips or mistakes others have made that you would share with us when we are thinking of launching a company for the first time, with the wisdom that you've gained in working with other companies to try to avoid a rebrand, from some common pitfalls maybe that have been um,
Yeah,
experiences that you've worked with customers on.
for sure. I think, one of the pitfalls is naming. So we take all our clients through a very kind of strategic naming process. I was going to say elaborate because it feels elaborate sometimes, but how does the name sound? How does the name look? You see those memes and pitfalls of people posting their name and it looks like something it shouldn't. And the competition, I think really hiring an attorney to make sure that you can use your trade name in the state. And if you're doing trade around the country or internationally, that's available to you. But we do hear about people going through the branding process and then comes a lawsuit because they have a name that's too similar to a company's name or a mark that's too similar. And that is really what you want to avoid. You want to make sure you get your attorney's seal of approval, that you get it registered and you're ready to go. I do think, sometimes people are like, well, I can't afford a branding company, so I'm just going to get the 99-cent logo. Well, what's happened with our clients that have tried that approach is, they get one file. They never hear from the designer again. They're not really getting the brand like color palette. They're not getting a brand standards manual. They don't know how to use this in different scenarios. Um, so I think that's always dangerous when you don't invest, because branding is really should be this one investment that you have for 10 years. And hopefully you don't have to, you can slightly evolve it, but it's not something you should be changing, every year. So hopefully
Mhm.
that's helpful, Andrea.
Yes, and it leads me to another question. When you're looking for an agency, do you ever provide like a welcome call or a get to know you call kind of thing to find out what is that business looking for, and if Eleanor would be, if that account would be too big or too small, not too big, too small for you all to be able to get started with somebody?
Absolutely. I mean, I always say I wouldn't be where I was if people didn't answer my calls or,
Mhm.
work with me when I was a very small company. And we do offer small businesses, like 12 months to pay their bill. Like we try to break it down. We understand small businesses can a lot of times not get financing. We believe that this is super important for them. So we try to break down those barriers for small businesses, to get them the foundation that they need. So absolutely, you should always feel free to call and just have the conversation. And, if it's not a right fit for Eleanor, hopefully we can, build connections. But usually we try to make it happen.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Okay, well, if you do, you still have a few minutes, so either raise your hand or drop them in the chat. If you think of it after the fact, just shoot us an email. We will reach out and get Christine's opinion, advice, whatever the question may be. Um, in the meantime, we do want to let you know about some upcoming trainings for May, just to save the date. It's going to be on Thursdays again, same time, kind of same place. So we're going to be hearing from Danielle about from local to legendary PR strategies for destination on May 15th. And then a week later, we have Alyssa Crop with 3 things to start doing and 1 thing to stop, so that you close more deals in 2025. So we encourage you guys to register if any of those are of interest to you. So you can do the same thing, hop on live, ask questions that are relevant for your business so that you guys can keep growing. And Again, if you have any other questions, just let us know. Thank you so much, Christine, for presenting today, filling us full of knowledge and just ideas of how we can continue to grow and market strategically as we develop our businesses. So thanks again, everybody, and we hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.